Good evening. I am a parent, a youth development professional, as well as a future educator. My children and any child that I come in contact with, my first priority is their safety and their well being. Wouldn't you agree that if you had information that could save a child from health problems or even death, that you would do something to ensure that they are okay? You would do anything to make sure that they get the help that they need, whether that's a child of your own, whether that's a family member, whether that's a student or mentee, or even a neighbor. If you saw a child and knew that they were hurting or going through something and you could help, you would absolutely help that child. The university Intergalactic League, which is called the UIL, randomly selects student high school athletes to take drug tests to test for anabolic steroids. Drug tests, that term is kind of ambiguous because they're not testing for drugs, they're testing for performing enhancing drugs only, which is called PEDs. Parents and students at the beginning of the school year had to sign a UIL agreement stating that they agree for their student athlete to be randomly tested for drug use. They are given a list of banned substances that, if caught while being randomly tested, they will face consequences if testing positive for any of those. Now, the UIL's motto is they are creating and committed to have a drug-free environment. But this is not true. They're committed to have a PED-free environment. The CDC states that they are very concerned about teen drug use, especially prescription pill abuse, recreational drug abuse, and alcohol abuse. The UIL needs to change some things. First, they need not to have a random selection of drug tests. All student athletes should be drug tested. Secondly, the test should not just be for PEDs or steroid use. The testing should be for all drugs. If the CDC is concerned about drug abuse, then our schools should be concerned about drug use as well. The testing is unfair. Let me give you an example. Student A is randomly selected to take a drug test and test positive, and he or she faces the consequences. On the other hand, student B is not selected, but student B is not only taking PEDs, he is abusing prescription drugs. Student B is performing at a sporting event, passes out, and dies. Later, we find out that he was abusing drugs and he was taking PEDs. If the UIL had tested all student athletes, this could have been a life saved. The UIL needs to start standing by what they said, and that is having a drug-free environment. And this cannot be done if they're only testing for PEDs. Another issue with the UIL, the consequences. The consequences goes like this. You get tested positive the first time, you are suspended from all UIL activities for 30 days. You test positive a second time, and you are suspended from all UIL activities for 30 days. You get tested and test positive a third time, you are suspended from participating in any UIL sports for the remainder of your high school career. Now, those are the only consequences. Nowhere in the UIL report does it say that these student athletes will be referred to treatment programs, any counseling, or any intervention programs. Their only concern is if the student athlete is playing fairly and not taking performance enhancing drugs. As parents, as community members, as teachers, as coaches, we have to come together and make them change this. Student athletes should not just be tested for PEDs. They should be tested for all drugs. And there also needs to be readily available counseling, drug abuse and treatment programs, intervention programs that student athletes can immediately go into to get the help that them and their families need. We need to save our youth. Thank you.